Hi, my name is James Braithwaite of Braithwaite Physiotherapy, helping you to move beautifully. And I'm not at Braithwaite Physiotherapy today. I'm at my home. We're locked in because of the pandemic, as many of you are. But of course, we're still working on our strength training at home. I am, just as I'm sure as well many of you are. And that brings me to the topic I want to talk about today, which is stretching and foam rolling and how that pertains to our ability to execute strength training. Now, I find that people often include stretching as part of a warm-up before strength training for, I don't know what reason, for just cause. Where the reality is the stretching is an intervention that should be used for helping us to improve range of motion. So the time to use stretching is if we're about to do a sport or activity that requires range of motion around a joint that we don't have. If we have a deficit in range of motion, then stretching is an appropriate intervention to help address that problem. One of the issues, though, with stretching is that if you do it before strength training, there's lots of science that shows that there's a downgrade, a deficit in the short term in your ability to execute strength and power activity shortly after your stretch protocol. So it's problematic if you're doing strength training with stretching immediately beforehand for that reason. So if you're trying to gain range of motion before your strength training session or before your sports session, then what other alternatives might you have that aren't going to affect your ability to execute with strength and power? And one possibility is foam rolling. It's not without controversy because foam rolling, the research isn't certain as to whether or not it actually helps us to improve range of motion. Some research says yes, some research says no. But there is an increasing body of studies that are showing that in the short term, at least after foam rolling, there can be some short-term improvements, if not long-term, in range of motion after foam rolling. So it may be a good alternative to stretching for increases of range of motion. Again, in the short term, if you don't want to lose your ability to execute with strength and power, because what the research does show about foam rolling is that there are no deficits in strength and power after foam rolling like we see with stretching, if that makes sense. Hopefully that made sense to you. So if you're going to do foam rolling for your activity, what you're going to do is you're going to find a myofascial trigger point, like a tender spot in your muscle, and you're going to roll it out for about 30 seconds to a minute, and you should be able to find between 3 and 5 spots in any large muscle group. And I'm going to demonstrate how you do that right now. So I'm going to just do my hamstring here. I'm going to get my muscle loaded into the foam roller just by placing my body weight over it. I can use my arm or my hand in this case to sort of unload or load in, or to allow my body to load in fully, just depending on what my tolerance is. I pick a mild amount of discomfort, so 4 out of 10 discomfort. I'm going to roll it out for 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'm just going to hunt for the next spot. I'm just going to move along, hunt for the next spot. And as I said, I should be able to find 3 to 5 of those in any given large muscle. And that's how you foam roll. You can apply that concept to any muscle. Make sure you're not rolling over hard bits. If you're rolling over bony bits, it's going to be super uncomfortable. You're not going to wreck anything. It's just not going to feel good. So bear that in mind when you foam roll. So long story short here is, if you want to improve range of motion before a strength training workout, but you don't want to have any deficits in strength or power, then foam rolling can be, it looks like right now in the science at least, a good alternative to stretching for that purpose. So if you have questions about this or anything else physiotherapy related, don't hesitate to reach out to me, James Braithwaite, at Braithwaite Physiotherapy, helping you to move beautifully.